So, welcome everybody. I'm Zenta, and this is the 14th Lioness of Light Oracle Within live Zoom. Welcome to each of you that have been able to join live, and each of you who will be watching the replay on YouTube. And this is the session today, Oracle of Hathor, as invoked through Hatshepsut. And it is with great honor and excitement that I will be introducing you to an extraordinary woman who has just absolutely inspired me beyond words through her film Hatshepsut, Sonia Machado-Hines. So she will be speaking with us soon and sharing some of her inspiration and story around the flow of Hatshepsut. And I have to say, the synchronicity of our connecting literally in the last couple of days has been outstanding and so exciting. And I have to thank Dee Kennedy and her sister Alset for this beautiful play of synchronicity, of flow, as divinely guided it feels through Hatshepsut. And Sonia will speak a little more of Dee Kennedy, but I would like to honor these two beautiful women who are sacred priestesses of the ancient Egyptian mysteries themselves. So it's just been absolutely beautiful. And Sonia, I'm so excited and honored to share this session with you and to sit in the circle with each of us as is pure energy. So without wanting to go into too much detail, but understandably needing to share a little of the context for this session and the oracle, the Lioness of Light oracle, that arose through a series of paintings, one of which is behind me, Hathor, invoked through Hatshepsut, that I have painted. I regard them as imprints of spirit. And the first one was painted in 2016. Little did I know that as the paintings unfolded over the years to the 17th, which is the Lioness of Light, Solar Feminine Returned, that they would become part of an oracle, which is really the intent, the heart of a way to share, a way that we might connect, reflect, deepen into the sense of our being as sovereignty in union, spirit embodied in matter, partaking of, embracing the whole totality of that which we are in embodied form in our humanity, not casting out, dismissing or diminishing any aspect of that which we are, both in our more human selves, the suffering, the confusion, the grief, the trauma that we experience in all its manifold ways, and also the joy, the wonder, the awe, the bliss even, and the celestial nature of our presence. All these aspects woven in. And at this time, it feels even more that this compassionate regard for that which we each are, the sacred mystery of each of our own journey, each of our sovereignty within, is being activated and called forth through the re-arising of the ancient divine feminine, the heart that is embodied through the solar feminine, the divine feminine in balance with the sacred masculine. And regardless of whether we are male or female, female or male, these are energetics of cosmos, energetics of creation, the sacred flow that we are ultimately each woven of both. And so perhaps it is the re-arising of the sacred masculine in its new iteration, and the re-arising and the activation of the divine feminine as she comes forth after having gone through several thousand of years of repression, subjugation, and that includes our regard for our Mother Earth, who is the ultimate embodiment of the divine feminine. So the Lioness of Light Oracle within has been a journey that has been offered through these Zooms since August 26, where we have been engaging in different aspects of coming back into touch, exploring, honoring, activating the wholeness, the totality of that which we are. And it has brought us now to this 14th session of Hathor, invoked through Hatshepsut. And this came to me through an experience that began in early 2018 of unexpectedly channeling one who gave his name as Breath of Ptah. And through Breath of Ptah, over these last couple of years, more voices, and indeed they have spoken and shared that they are spectrum of light voices, is how the phrase may be given, that have been very much about bringing forth voices of the ancient divine feminine in all her emanations, one of whom in early 2019, March, almost exactly 1 year after the Breath of Ptah brought himself forth, voices and a divine feminine voice speaking of Hathor through Hatshepsut came unbidden. And as with Ptah and Hatshepsut, I was not actually very informed or aware of their story at all. So my journey has been to research, to discover, to learn about each of these and many of the others who have come forth in relation to Sekhmet. Ptah and Sekhmet, I discovered being consorts, to do with the Sphinx, even an emanation of Eve. It has just been an extraordinary journey. So through this session and the beautiful synchronicity of timing of coming into contact with Sonia and the extraordinary film Hatshepsut, that I know some of you present have been so involved in. I know there are cast and people involved in the production who are present today. So I do hope that I give enough honor to this extraordinary film that you have created with such depth of poetry, intimacy, and a numinous quality that took my breath away. And I also found deeply moving, deeply emotional. So gratitude and ho. So I hope I'm not speaking too fast. I'm just aware of wanting to move through to offer this landscape, the lay of the land to you. So there is context for bridging into when I introduce Sonia and open for her to speak, which I know we would all be so looking forward to in this moment. But for now, I will speak. I thought the best way to do it was to just share with you a small section of the transcribed speaking that was spoken on this day when Hatshepsut, Hathor, was brought forth. And again, it is to do with the re-arising of the ancient divine feminine, solar feminine returned, the lion, the sun, the active principle of the sacred feminine in balance with the sacred masculine. So I will begin, and thank you for being patient with me. Session 10, 20th of March, 2019, which reminds me that today's date synchronistically adds to 13, the number of the divine feminine, and deep incorporation. So blessings and again, perfect synchronicity. I'm standing in Egypt with a golden pyramid behind and long path ahead, leading to what seems to be Hatshepsut's temple, ending with a tall keyhole entrance. I am in processional ceremony with arms held upward in Hathor's pose, carrying an offering upon a ceremonial cushion, I cannot see what is resting on the cushion. And in the channeling, as these words were being spoken, my arms went up into Hathor's pose. And the voice came through. This is just a small segment. Hathor's queen, queen of Hathor, Hathor's gift, Hathor's posture, praise be Hathor, offerings to Hathor, Queen Hatshepsut, offerings to the Mighty One, priestess of Hathor, raising her light, kingdom of the Queen Hatshepsut. She wears the crown. What is the purpose of this crown? But to imbibe and to embody the masculine and the feminine as the sacred one. This is the teaching. This is the practice that has been sent from embodied light to embodied form on this planet. And Hatshepsut seeks to know this and to impart this, not for the aggrandizement of the self, as so many have misunderstood, but for the holy of the holies and the holiest of the holies. Her face like the holy cow, the king of queens. Why do we do it thus? To raise the teachings of the ancient past. We know the past as ancient, but this is just the recent past. We seek to clear the disillusionments, the misunderstandings, the misinterpretations of that which was the holy vessel, mighty queen. She sought to hold, to embody the teachings of the ancient ones, the female lineages of truth, the sacred truth embodied within the masculine form. We are seeking to transmit this, because this is needed now. For she is rising through this again now. Now is the time for the potency of the feminine through the form of the masculine. The masculine holds and yet must not stifle, must not contract in armor, but to hold with honor and respect the sacred female form within, the pregnant void which holds life. And this life is what enables all to continue and to keep evolving so that thus this golden age can be manifest. The female form within, the void, the gold, the liquid gold that it is, must wear the sacred crown and the pharaoh's beard once more. And this is the royal oneness, the royal marriage that this planet needs and is embarking on once more, but in its new evolution. See the light, the sacred gold, the honey of the sacred bees. She is thus, her face must be seen, to speak, to shine, and the warrior, the king, must hold and guard her. Thus, the sacred Akeru brothers, the lion guardians, holding space for the sacred sphinx, yes, the Akashic records, the whole of records that she is. Do not be afraid of her light, of her power, for it is the power of all union, of all sovereignty, of rejoicing for all. None are excluded or diminished if this is known and upheld and recognized. You must all drink from her light, from her body. You drink of your own light, of your own golden light. You drink this from her. The she is one, the sacred marriage. This is the sacred teaching of Hathor. And thus it is that at this time, those buried deep within the earth, through the remnants of their bodies that have been embalmed and mummified, are diffusing this liquid light, the liquid gold, this honey, this sacred elixir, diffusing now. Energetically, you might say, it is being released and reawakened For this time was ever imprinted at the beginning. It may seem a disintegration, however, it is an infusing and a disbursement of divine order. And that is why we speak of all the senses, because you breathe it in even. It is physical, it is not just imaginal. This energy and memory and information and light of awakening is physical. You are receiving it. Many are receiving it, like honey spreading across the lands. We repeat this phrase for a reason. It is not just pure poetry. Learn this. Ptah has spoken, and the spectrum of light voices have spoken through this light of the pyramid that Ptah holds in form in this realm at this time for you. And so praise be to Hathor and Hatshepsut, the woman, a woman who sought to embody Hathor. And indeed, Senemut, perhaps he was seeking to embody the sacred masculine. So this beautiful reverence, and I truly feel such awe and wonder with this sense of activation and re-arising of these sacred stories, of these sacred beings that are seeking to impart their wisdom, along with all the other beautiful wisdoms that are being shared and activated by so many on this planet at this time, and for each of us to incorporate this into our own being through our own journey. And on that note, I'm going to please introduce Sonia. I'm so excited. So I invite you, Sonia, to unmute yourself and bring yourself forth in the screen and share with everyone your story, inspiration, and beautiful presence. So hoping that this works. I'll see if I need to assist. Can I hear your voice?
Can you hear me?
Beautiful. And now we just need to see you. Here you are. Thank you, everybody. Please, Sonia Machado-Hines, welcome, and your beautiful husband beside you, offering assistance, blessings and gratitude. Blessings. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much, Zenta. And I saw Dee there. I want to say hi, Dee. And I've already emailed you, but I want you to know that I appreciate very much the introduction to Zenta. It's been very zen, literally by definition. Zenta, your name should be popularized. And on that note, I actually want to talk about Dee a little bit, who is our consulting producer on Hatshepsut and was so generous with her faith and ambiance and aura to help channel Hatshepsut to the set. And I think you can confirm, Dee, we channeled Hatshepsut to the set. The beauty of Dee is the film was in the greater Los Angeles area and a little further south, like 7 hours south. And Dee came down from San Francisco, boom, 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 and helped us to create the film. And what was really fantastic from her role was all the days that led up to shooting. Dee was with me. She answered all my goofy questions. And Dee, I think you can attest, some of them were super goofy, like, should we bow? Shouldn't we bow? Is this a spot where we do this? Why would we do it? Yak, 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 yak. But the best part is she blessed every set. And it set the tone and it set the mood for the film, and it made it riveting. Like, I actually just going over it got a little verklempt, like, ooh. I'm like, in the moment, because it was a lot of work. Don't get me wrong, ladies. It was the hardest job I've ever fulfilled. And I would say mainly because there was so much faith surrounding it. We didn't want to do a disservice or an injustice to the memory and the future of Hatshepsut's story. So on that, Dee, thank you. And in your honor, do they look familiar, Dee? She brought these for me and my husband from Egypt when she was there last, and I confiscated them. They kind of look better on my necklace. Don't you guys agree? It's like girl power, okay? All right, so I have a few things I want to tell you about the film now that I've acknowledged D, but sorry, not sorry. There were some favorite items. You're thought of a Morton pestle, right? Well, for those of you that haven't seen the film, when you eventually see it, I sought this out probably 6 months. It is the heaviest piece from the film. And it is one of the few pieces I chose to keep, mainly because this was what the high priestess used to formulate what she was creating for the transformation of Hatshepsut to be able to wear the role of Pharaoh of Egypt. And it has so much for me because this represents the actress that we had be our high priestess. What happened is we had a high priestess, and she was acquired at the beginning of production. But what happened is there was a little drama. And so 2 days into shooting, I was like, bye. Sorry, not sorry, bye. And I took a very young actress who was an extra that was just a tiny little thing and cute as a button, and put our dialect coach with her. There we go. Put our dialect coach with her, and she learned the dialect. Oh, because yes, we did have a dialect coach so that everyone's dialect was consistent. And this little peanut learned the role and killed it. And this represents, she probably weighs as much as this thing. I mean, she was a peanut, but I have to tell you, she killed it. So proud of her, so proud of her. And it was her first speaking role. And that little change that I did acquired me a interview with Backstage West, because they were like, what? And I'm like, yeah. I was like, sorry, not sorry. You can go and you can learn the role. And it worked out. And it was beautiful because this wasn't about having 10 divas in front of me. This was about channeling Hatshepsut's story. And that was more important to me. And the integrity of that was senior to breaking a contract.
Yeah.
And that was that. So that's one piece. And then we have this other magnificent piece. Are you guys enjoying show and tell? A nod of yes. Enjoying show and tell. I feel like I'm in kindergarten. So this is like my favorite piece from the film. It's a full-on brass platter. Isn't that gorgeous? There's a scene in the film where Hatshepsut brings nourishment to Senimut when he's in prison. And the amount of work that finding this piece took, the amount of detail to how many shots did we have to shoot so that the noise when it hit the ground. And then there was the special effects that had to be done because all the fruit didn't quite make it off correctly. I mean, funny, not funny, very hilarious, almost comical. But when you do see the film, you'll go, what was she talking about? It's so beautiful. Well, I can attest, hours and hours and hours of blah, blah. And let me see, what were some other fun things for me in making this film? I would have to say how I even got the film. I'm a career coach as well as a filmmaker. So I'm busy just doing my career coaching, doing. And the gentleman who I was career coaching at the time says to me, I wrote a script with the late Gore Vidal. And for those of you that don't know about the late Gore Vidal, he wrote Paris is Burning, Caligula, and Ben-Hur. And I was like, sure, I'll read the script. So he gives me the script in an email. It's like not very many pages, and it was 9 pages, I think. And I said, I thought you wrote a feature. And he goes, yeah, I didn't want you to read more if you didn't want to read more. I was like, oh, no, I'll read it. Within 2 weeks, I had all the contracts signed. Wow. I was blown away. Like I'd gone crazy, blown away, like crazy lady running up and down the street naked, crazy lady, blown away. And then my husband and I spent the good part of 6 months composing the short with he and the other co-writer, his name is Hassam Nazari, and the other co-writer's name is Quindrith Johnson. And we came up with the short film so that we could actually sell the short to make the feature, because that is our truest intention, is to make the feature. And I didn't want to just make a feature. And I wanted to spotlight the process of this amazing female character who was portrayed by actress Kelsey Scott. And we did it. I would say we did it. We pulled it off. And today I can tell you, as of yesterday, that we are in our 15th festival. And I don't know what happened, whether it was COVID or enough people saw the film, but the last few weeks have been absolutely crazy in my life. Like, the film has blown up suddenly. I got, I don't know, 30 invitations, some with fee waivers, some with discount. I just like, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, okay. And they all take time. It's a process, and some cost money. So you don't have to go, well, you, yes, you know, and okay, all of you, yes, and one or two, no. So for those of you that have not seen the film, the first place you can see the film is at the Capital City Black Film Festival, which I'm very proud of because it's an all-Black cast. So you can imagine how ignited I am, which plays December 4th through the 6th. And their Instagram handle is Cap City BFF if you want more information. So I strongly recommend you watch it. And the second festival, if those dates don't work out for you, because I have lots apparently, is FFTG Awards, which plays December 5th through the 13th, and their Instagram handle is FFTG_awards. And the third festival, which resonates with me dramatically because it's in Barcelona, where my husband and I finished the rewrites on the film, another serendipitous occasion, is the LH International Film Fest, March 8th through the 13th. And this is their Instagram handle. And this is all about the fact that it's a live festival with, right now they're planning social distancing, but this particular festival owns its own hotel. It's a 4-star hotel, and they own a theater. So they can control how we watch the film. And I can assure you, I am going. I'm going with a full-on brood. And mainly because the crown that our Hatshepsut wore was made by a designer who lives in Barcelona. And one of the fashion designers that did a few of the costumes for some of the characters, I don't want to give it all away, lives in Madrid. And so, yeah. And then for those of you that may want to reach out to me, this is my Instagram. It's Black++, all spelled out. If you have any questions or you want to see some of the footage on Hatshepsut, I post pretty much everything. It doesn't stay up forever because I changed my mind and I post something new. But gee, that's what I have to say. Do you have any questions, Zenta? Anything I haven't quite covered?
Oh, Sonia, thank you so much. And I do have to say again, the privilege of having a preview, of being able to watch the short film in its entirety. As I said, it's spectacular. It took my breath away. I was riveted in each moment. And what I recognized was the story was being spoken from the inside. It truly was a channeling. I recognized that. And this is about the embodiment. And through that, the gift, the energy that is given out. And was just, it's so powerful. It is itself like I felt I was entering into sacred ceremony, into ceremonial space in every moment. And I loved the bridging and the incorporation of the personal story within the embodiment of such a profound sacred story. You know, the energies of ancient time and that which was being brought forth by each of the characters being held. And it just, honestly, I mean every word I say. And one of the things that I loved, I read an article and something that you shared in that really struck me was, you said, I was interested in the integrity of the script and not some off the beaten path or interpretation that would interfere with the poetic message in the dialogue. And I really responded to that too. And I absolutely salute you for that, because it is that poetic element that goes through and beyond and connects us all. And it's what I speak about, that language of where we're entering the realms of the poetic. And through that, you know, any particular differences or even different language, the separation dissolves, and there is that sense of entering into a unified space, a unified energy through which things can be conveyed, you know, from the heart, and from those realms that, you know, are great mystery. And so I just really want to celebrate that and celebrate you for your courage, for you being an inspiration of empowerment and the celebration of this. It is such celebration. And I do want to also ask you about the star map behind you. I remember also reading an article and you spoke about I'm standing behind or in front of her stars, Hatshepsut stars. Could you please speak about that and share that?
Yes. This is the star map that was specifically created when I was doing all my research on how to do the scenes for the film and creating the list of shots. I came across a star map, and I have a friend, her name is Palm Hepner, and you can see her work on Instagram. Palm Artist is her handle. And Palm created this on canvas, and we used it in the film. And then after the film, it was another piece that I kept, and I had it stretched so that I could have it as wall art. There are so many stories surrounding this, but it actually set the tone for the film. And I tried to be very, keep my integrity on what was real for me, like what was the message I wanted to communicate. I had lots of people telling me you should do this and you should do that. And I mean, we were 73 casting crew. Imagine, I've never done a film with more than 10 people. 73. Feeding them alone was overwhelming. I kept saying, stop eating. I was like, stop it. But anyway, the funny part was how much integrity there was. The costumes were handmade. I had 53 costumes, and I did 50 of them myself with my two hands.
Wow, the costumes are stunning.
They're spectacular. I'm goo goo gaga. I kept every single one except for the ones I let the actors keep. I let them each pick a piece that they wanted. And I was all about, what do you want? Because you won't get paid until I get paid. So take a costume, you know. But I have to say, that's where Dee was priceless for me, because Dee Kennedy kind of instilled in me, we're really channeling this spiritual entity. And as a minister myself, I am an ordained minister working with an ordained high priestess. I was not going to negotiate. I just did what was needed. And every once in a while I was like, Dee, I don't want you. And she just went blah, 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 blah. And then somehow in the middle of that, I was like, okay, fine. And, you know, and I would pull it off. So it was pretty fantastic.
Oh, blessings. And the star map, and that, you know, yeah, it is in itself a channeled expression of divine presence.
Yeah.
And indeed, Hatshepsut, the film, is that. So I just say to everyone, every chance you get to watch it, absolutely do. And I am right behind the feature film. May that be so. May it be so. Spectacular. And the line, very important line, I hope I'm not giving everything away, within the film, Hatshepsut. And it ties in, I feel, with the way her presence that is being re-invoked at this time came through the imprints of spirit channeling. You will never be remembered, but you will not be forgotten.
Precisely.
So powerful. And that line and what is contained within that says it all.
Yes, it literally was the vein that ran through the entire film. And from the beginning to the end, from you know, the floorboards and the Persian rugs that we were able to acquire, to the costumes and the actors and the makeup and the most amazing cinematographer money could not buy. Because I mean, I did get some funding, but I was rubbing two pennies together, and this man made paper look pretty spectacular. Because there are some scenes, and I'll give you a cheat, there are some scenes in the prison shots that you'll be surprised are made of paper and boxes.
Wow.
And the lighting and the filters and what he, between him and even the production designer, who I was like, well, this is all we've got. And he was like, okay, I'm going to go make it happen. And he did. And it was like Zalakabula Minchikabula, bibbidi bobbidi boo, you know, fairy godmother material. It was kind of spectacular. The whole thing was absolutely spectacular.
And I reflect and have this sense, truly, the energy of Hathor as one of the most ancient goddesses of Egypt, the face of the sun, mother of the sun, wife of the sun, daughter of the sun, Ra, Amun-Ra, Hatshepsut, and all that she sought to embody and indeed did embody. And the fact that she reigned for 22 years, I believe, and in history, looking back, beginning to be recognized, she left behind the most spectacular architecture and legacy of a peaceful, prosperous era. Through that time, living as a female pharaoh, as king, and then after her passing was literally physically erased and not recognized, not known. Her identity was not remembered. And yet it is as if the truth will always set you free, because the time came when she was rediscovered, when there was a mapping and a piecing together and recognition that this gap was in fact her presence as this pharaoh through this time, her name, her presence, and now as an embodiment of an empowered feminine force.
Yes.
She is with us once more, and blessings and ho to the divine feminine in balance with the sacred masculine, sovereignty in union. So thank you so much, Sonia. It has just been so beautiful. Is there anything else that you would like to share to complete your speaking?
The only thing I would share is I would say something that I admire myself for, and those women that I have had the honor to empower. That is my jam. It's to empower women. So if you've been empowered, now empower someone else, pay it forward. And if you need more empowerment, apparently you're in the right circle of empowerment. So well done. And especially with this new normal, with the pandemic, this is a time where we hustle on the relationships that we have. And again, Dee, thank you. And Zenta, thank you. And I thank you all for your attention and appreciation, and do it for others, because some people are suffering in ways we will never imagine. And so all we can do is empower them with good news, good data, flavorful thought, happy thoughts, whatever that might be. That is how I would close.
So beautiful. Thank you so much, Sonia. All good blessings, joy, and may Hatshepsut, the film and the feature film, absolutely manifest in great exaltation and joy. Woo! Thank you so much, Sonia.
Thank you, everyone.
And now to complete, I'll just bridge us back perhaps into just a 5-minute meditation so we can integrate and incorporate all this beautiful energy that we have shared, and complete our 14th Lioness of Light Oracle session. So thank you so much. I'm just going to complete with a short reading that I hope can just bring us in to a space of gratitude and connecting with the inner wholeness and divinity within each of us, one with creation, one with all, sovereignty in union. And that is both in union within and in union with all that we share this planet with, all sentient beings, all of nature, and one another. Our Lady of Hathor, feminine face of rare, serpent goddess, lady of the sedge and the bee, the sacred sistrum and the holy cow, your unguent of love is radiant upon us, calling forth the honey as it spreads across the lands. Lioness of light, your face shines once more. So thank each of you for joining with us today. It has just been truly a highlight in my life to share this moment with you, and the wonderment and beauty that is present alongside all else that we are each meeting in our lives, in the fullness and totality of that which we each are, spirit embodied in matter, and sharing with you Hathor's sistrum that my dear friend Tahea has brought back as a replica that is authentic. And so with a shaking of Hathor's system in honor of Hatshepsut and all those beings who are seeking to be present with us at every moment in guidance and love and deep regard. Thank you so much, and I look forward to sharing our 15th Lioness of Light live Zoom next week. There are 3 more until the 17th, which is on the 16th of December, our final Oracle Within journey to share in this form. Thank you so much. Thank you again, Sonia, and each of you who have joined together in this beautiful circle of energy and celebration. Blessings and gratitude. Thank you.